If you want to see how I transform this bland wall hanging into this awesome piece of art, just keep watching. Hey, it's Lizzie from the Glitter Sticks. I'm going to be using Krylon Color Max Gloss Mambo Pink, these dried flowers that I got off Amazon, these flower stickers that I also got off Amazon, and holographic vinyl that, you guessed it, Amazon. The glitter I'm using is Sweet Tart from Glitter Chimp, my favorite glitter place ever. I have washed this wall hanging and it has a textured surface, but I'm going to hit it with a 220 sanding block to make sure there isn't anything weird going on with the surface. Just lightly sanding. I got this wall hanging from a mystery box at Michael's for $10. They had a whole stack of them, and I asked my 3-year-old to pick me out a good one. Lucky me, it was full of fall stuff, and at the time of purchase, it was Christmas time, and I'd already packed all my fall stuff away. Some of the stuff in the box was cool, and I will definitely use it next year, but some of this stuff, oof, not my style. And instead of sending it off to the Goodwill, I figured I could upcycle to make it something I would actually love. Now that this is all sanded, I'm just cleaning it off with a soap and water mix and wiping with a lint-free paper towel. This part was super tedious, but necessary. Because of the curved surface and the round shape, I couldn't just run tape around it, so I had to tear off little sections of blue painter's tape and tape off the white border going all the way around. It's actually kind of funny that I'm upcycling this sign. I sing "You Are My Sunshine" to my kids all the time. I'm just not a huge fan of farmhouse decor, and the color combo with the weird dirty look just was not my vibe. I think in the future I will want to make something that says "You Are My Sunshine" on it, but this wall art will be going in my craft office area, so since it's for me, it'll be pink and sparkly. Now that I have the perimeter taped off, I'm just going to go back through to cover up the edges so I don't get any overspray on it when I go to spray paint. Prep work makes the dream work. That took forever, but whatever. Looks good. Now I'm going to go in with that Gloss Mambo pink spray paint. This is after one coat, and it ended up needing a lot more. I could have sprayed a white base primer to help hide the darker colors, but after a few coats of the spray paint and the glitter, the underneath was all hidden. I let this layer dry and then sprayed it one last time and used the spray paint to adhere my Sweet Tart glitter. I find this method works really well, but the glitter definitely takes on more of the spray paint color and less of the glitter color. So if I'd wanted the glitter to really show, I would have waited for the spray paint to dry and used resin or Mod Podge to adhere the glitter instead. But ooh, look how pretty she is. I am so happy with that. I love the shine. I love the color. I'm going to go in with this Watco Crystal Clear Lacquer to make sure that the glitter stays in place for the next step. I waited about 30 minutes for this to dry, and oh my goodness, I love, love, love how it's looking. This is my polyacrylic that I dumped out of a can and put into a condiment bottle that I got from the dollar store. I'm going to be applying it all over and spreading it around with this silicone brush tool. The product's non-toxic and you can totally use your hands. I just don't like the feel of it on my hands, and the silicone brush works great. I also like the polyacrylic because it's non-yellowing and it doesn't add a ton of weight to the project, but it still aids in smoothing out the glitter. As you can see, it's still shiny, and now that it's dry, I'm going to apply another coat because it still has a rough texture from the glitter. So same thing, polyacrylic and a silicone brush to spread it around. I'm a pretty impatient crafter, so if I'm not working on something else in between dry times, I will speed stuff up when I can using my trusty heat gun from Harbor Freight. I absolutely love Harbor Freight. It feels like the masculine version of Hobby Lobby, and anytime I'm wanting to try something new, they always have an affordable version I can buy without committing to like expensive tools and materials. It's just such a great place. I paid like $12 for this heat gun about 3 years ago, and it's still going strong. Just love it. Now that everything is dry, I'm going to remove the blue painter's tape because it will have a pretty nice edge on it. And it's also been hanging out through 4 layers of spray paint, a layer of glitter, and 2 layers of polyacrylic. I was actually worried that if I waited longer, it would never come back up. I'm going in with my trusty UV resin. I need a smooth surface to apply my decal and embellishments, and this will do the trick faster than waiting for traditional epoxy to dry. I'm just spreading the UV resin around with my gloved hand, as I know I will need 2 coats to get a smooth surface, but I don't want the coats to be super thick since this is a hanging sign. Since this project is bigger than my UV lamp, I will have to cure it in sections. I use my 2-minute timer on the back, and once it's done, I rotate the sign and cure another section. Once that is fully cured, I'm going to sand it smooth with a 220 sanding block. Now I'm going in with 91% alcohol to clean off any dust and debris. I'll also be wiping this down with a lint-free paper towel. I used to use Viva paper towels, and those were so linty, so I just use normal paper towels, and I don't have any problems with lint on my projects. Okay, so last coat of UV resin. I'll be sure to link this UV resin in the description box below. I'm going to apply it with a gloved hand because I want to do a thinner coat, and I want to make sure that it's smooth and even for when I'm applying my decals. Since there's a raised edge where the pink and white border meet, I can tell how far I need to go before getting into that white border. It's also really easy to clean any UV resin overages with a baby wipe or 91% alcohol and a paper towel. Like with all forms of resin and epoxy, bubbles are the worst, so I'm going in with my torch to rid this beautiful wall art of any imperfections. Just kidding. Most of the stuff I make is full of imperfections, but you know, I still try. We give it good effort, right? Same thing here. I'm having to cure the top in sections using my 2-minute timer and then just rotating the sign around till it's all cured. This is fully cured, smooth, and so nice. I have already cut this decal out on my Cricut machine. The black vinyl is from Cricut, and I'm using that as the offset background, and the holographic vinyl will go over the top. I used a 0.08 offset in Cricut when designing this, and I just took my time to eyeball this when lining it up since there wasn't a huge margin to work with. The saying says, bloom where you are planted, which means you should take advantage of the opportunities you have in your life and be grateful for the present situation. This really resonates with me and where I am in my life journey, so I just really loved it. When starting the arrangement, I decided to start with these sticker flowers, which were so hard to get the backings off, and I didn't want to waste a ton of time on this video having you watch me struggle. So just know that these take some patience to work with. Kind of going back to the bloom where you are planted thing, I worked one of my first nursing jobs I worked at this place that was really terrible, but in the bathroom they had this sign, and I think one of the nurse educators had said it too or whatever, and I didn't quite know what it meant, but every time I would get off shift and I'd use the downstairs bathroom, I would see that sign, and I was just like, I think I felt a little resentful because I absolutely hated that job. But then also, people are like, oh, you just need to be grateful, and you just need to, all these things, right? So I find it interesting now that I'm later on in my nursing career and I've done a lot of things and I'm in a really good place, right? So I've been thinking about the fact that I just kind of actually really like that saying, and it makes more sense to me now because I kind of did bloom where I was in that time of my life. All of my experiences and opportunities of growth and everything's kind of brought me to where I am now. So it's kind of awesome. After I place the decal, there's some stuff that's overhanging, and so I just use my craft knife to go around and cut those little pieces off. I have a love-hate with these sticker flowers. They are so pretty, but the bubbles are unreal. I went through and poked them with my weeding tool and then just tried to press the air out as best I could. Moving into the decal, I'm eyeballing my placement because honestly, I'm not sure I could find my ruler if I tried. Just kidding. It's probably out in the garage, but it's cold out there and it just doesn't bother me to slap it on. I do take my time to make sure I like where it is, so that's almost like measuring, right? I'm using the hinge method to apply this by lifting one side, cutting away the back side, placing it down, and then removing the paper backing from the other side. Now to apply the dried flowers. This came in a multi-pack from Amazon, and then I decided that I was just going to use everything in this except for the greenery. I'll be using polyacrylic to adhere the flowers once I have everything kind of placed and put into the space that I want it to go in. Once I have everything laid out the way I want it to be, I'm going to secure the flowers with polyacrylic. I start with just dabbing little spots of the polyacrylic and then placing the flowers over it. They are pretty delicate, so you just want to be careful when pressing them down that they don't tear or come apart. I'll be finishing off the border by painting it black using this cheap acrylic paint and a paintbrush that I bought at the dollar store. This brush was kind of a pain because it sheds so much, but for whatever reason, I bought it. So I figured I would just use it. And then I took my time going around the edges with my brush to get a nice clean look. And here's the finished product. I love it. I'm so happy with how it turned out. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. All right, see you next time.